Welcome back to the World Economic Forum. We're live in Davos and you're joining us in the Tradeshift CNBC Tech Summit. We're joined by the Chairman and CEO of BBVA, Francisco Rodriguez Gonzalez. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to start by talking to you about some of the volatility, the tensions that we've seen in the Italian banking sector this week. Do you see this as a shot across the bow for the Italians by the ECB?
I am not into details about what's happening in Italy, but yesterday I met one of the most important CEOs, and he told me that in his opinion, there is a sort of misunderstanding regarding communication. That was his position.
I.e. the ECB requested data and should never have made it clear to the markets or obvious to the markets that they were asking for it.
Yeah.
So as far as you're concerned, you don't think investors should be more concerned today than they were a week ago?
I don't think so, because this guy was very clear about it, and he's an expert. And he said, we don't see any specific problems in the balance sheets of Italian banks, generally speaking.
I want to bring it back to the Spanish banking sector because the Spanish banks have been broadly under pressure since the elections back in December. We've also got the energy sector issues. We've got more concerns, I think, volatility in the markets about the growth outlook as well. Just how exposed to the likes of emerging markets to energy is BBVA specifically?
We are very happy with our diversification. We are in the so-called emerging markets, but we have to differentiate between Mexico, which is not an emerging market anymore, it's an emerged market, or Colombia, Peru, Italy, Chile. They are emerging markets, but they are very solid. Therefore, not all the emerging markets are the same. Even Turkey, where you have a big position in the most important Turkish bank, they are doing very well, in spite of the geopolitical problems. Therefore, we are very calm, and the revenues are coming very fluidly. No problem at all. Of course, less growth, no doubt, but our numbers are very promising today.
Talk to me about the election. We still lack a government in Spain.
That is a more difficult question.
Is going back to the polls better than stalemate?
I don't know. Would I say that Spain has done a pretty good job in terms of reforms. So we have grown at a rate of 3.2% last year. We expect this year 2.7, even 0.8. The economy is doing well, but we have a question mark because now we have 4 parties instead of 2. And they have to reach an agreement with or without elections. My view is 2/3 of the parliament are looking at Spain, at democracy and the economy basically in the same way. And I hope the government which will emerge with or without elections will be stable enough to keep on going on reforms. That's my view.
You were one of the CEOs of the banks that signed a declaration as well regarding Catalonia, saying, please don't break away, this will not be good for the country or for business. Now we've got a pro-secessionist party government in power there. Are you more concerned about what this is going to mean for Spain and for your bank?
There is a lot of fuss about Catalonia, an incredible lack of information. Catalonians don't understand what independence really means, the cost of independence. There is a lot of emotion.
Should they be allowed a referendum to allow them to understand what that means?
Under the present Spanish constitution, it's not possible at all.
That's not the question, though.
Yeah, therefore it's illegal. It's against the Spanish constitution. It's against the European position. And most important, in the last elections, the independentists didn't get the majority. The majority was in favor of the non-independentists. This is really a mess. It's going to create a huge amount of fuss, but I don't think Catalonia out of Spain ever. Frankly, that's my position. It's more a question of convey the right messages and to explain to the Catalonians what's going on. I don't think Catalonian problem will derail Spain by any means.
Spanish recovery stories benefited from lower oil, from a lower euro in particular too. Do you think Mario Draghi still needs to step up further and provide more stimulus?
Yeah, oil prices, for example, in this year, the lately fallout in prices. Oil prices is going to give us probably 50 basis points of growth. Therefore, it's a big tailwind.
And Mario Draghi, more stimulus?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think he should?
It's very difficult. I think the room for maneuver in terms of fiscal policy, and particularly in this case in monetary policy, is limited. It's limited. I think
he's running out of tools.
Yeah, I think it's a question of gaining credibility again. Yeah, you have a couple of problems. You know, China is a problem. Oil prices is a problem in the short term. Oil prices are benefiting 4 billion people in the medium long term. Therefore, but creates soft waves in the short term, definitely. And you have the technological disruption, and you have sovereign funds which have sold a huge amount of securities over the last couple of weeks. My view is that the world has to fix the real problems and not just looking for monetary solutions.
So I want to draw you onto technology because you've been talking about disruption, the need for big business to adapt to a changing environment now for many years. Mm-hmm. You've adapted the bank quite dramatically and say that, look, we don't have a technology arm or a division, it is the bank or a digital bank. Do you think this is something that investors don't quite appreciate, a head start that you have, actually, that investors don't get yet?
I think you have seen what has happened in other sectors like media, photo, public transport. The technology has turned upside down those sectors. Next in is banking. We are seeing a myriad, an enormous amount of startups position themselves in every part of the value chain, and you have the giants of the Amazons, the Googles, and so. They are on the fringe of the banking system because they don't want to be regulated now. My view is that there will be a new league of competitors made up of banks like BBVA, which have been working on this issue for a lot of years. Definitely some startups. Most of them will go bust, but some of them will be extremely successful, and of course the giants of the net. At the end of the day, my view is over the next 5-10 years, a completely new banking ecosystem, which is going to work in a completely different way based on extreme transparency. The winners are the customers, and we pretend to be in the middle of that ecosystem, giving our customers the best services produced by probably third parties, and trying to give them the tools in order to plan, execute, and monitor their lives. Completely different world. You will see fewer number of banks over the next years. There are 20,000 today. I am very downbeat about the future of the banking system, generally speaking.
But you're trying to position your bank to adapt at least. So thank you so much, the Chairman and the CEO of BBVA speaking to us there.